Good day, family, and all praise to the Almighty Creator. I've been noticing that a lot of people have been slowly losing faith because of the 400-year prophecy and all the videos that were coming out. I want to read something to you. Genesis 15, 13 and 14. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also, excuse me, and also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. Most High never said how long he was going to take to judge the nation. It could be a day, well, obviously longer than a day because it's already passed. Who knows how long the Almighty is going to be judging the nations? So, that being said, after he's done, then we will come out with great substance. Now, what are some of the things that we need to look for? Let's go to Isaiah 13, 1 through 19. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Set ye up an ensign upon the high mountain. Lift up the voice unto them. Wave the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my consecrated ones. Yea, I have called my mighty ones. Who are the mighty ones? The giants. For mine anger, even my proudly exulting ones. Hark, a tumult in the mountains, like as of a great people. Hark, the approach of the kingdoms, of the nations gathered together. The Almighty of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven. Now, I'm going to stop here because I want to show you guys something. Okay, the heathen, hold on. Okay, when you go to school, the heathen throw this in your face. This is the globe, and it has all the countries, nations, etc., etc. Okay, before the European came on the scene, the world was different, and that's documented. Here's the emblem for the United Nations, and it shows all of the countries, nations that that are on the globe. Okay, this is the United Nations of heathens. Okay, the United Nations of heathens that are against us. And I say that because if you look at all the atrocities going on in the world right now, Yemen, here in the Americas, them killing us, and all the other places, the UN hasn't lifted a finger, hasn't said anything. And yes, there are countries out there that give lip service, like the Philippine president just said something about the United States and them killing the blacks, but no one's done anything about it, and no one's going to do anything about it until the Almighty comes back. Now, the heathen, the European, have flipped the map upside down. It's documented, and they renamed everything, moved lands around, and all that's documented. Okay, before the European got a hold of the map, this is the maps that were going around. Okay, you have this spot right here, which is the logo for the United Nations, but all the older maps have all these other land masses out here. I believe that the United Nations right here in the center, these are the only nations that the heathen are allowed to take over and conquer. My belief. But like I said, it's documented that they have flipped the map, renamed everything, and since they stick this globe in your face since kindergarten, And all through school, even in college, this is what they want you to believe is out there. And if they say this is the only thing, then by golly, that's the only thing out there. No, I don't believe the heathen, anything they say. I'll believe this. There's other nations out there that are hidden. Let's go back to Scripture. Even the Almighty and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole earth. Howl ye, for the day of the Almighty is at hand. As destruction from the Almighty shall it come. Therefore shall all hands be slack, and every heart of man shall melt, and they shall be affrighted. Pangs and throes shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman in travail. They shall look aghast one at another. Their faces shall be faces of flame. Behold, the day of the Almighty cometh, cruel and full of wrath and fierce anger, to make the earth a desolation, and to destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. That's something to look for. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will visit upon the world their evil, and upon the wicked their iniquity, the Europeans. And I will cause the arrogancy, Europeans, of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the tyrants. I will make man more rare than fine gold, even man than the pure gold of Ophir. Therefore I will make the heavens to tremble, that's something to look for, and the earth shall be shaken out of her place, hasn't happened yet, for the wrath of the Almighty of hosts, and for the day of his fierce anger. That's the day of the Almighty. And it shall come to pass that as the chaste gazelle, and as sheep that no man gathereth, they shall return every man to his own people, and shall flee every man to his own land. So that's something to look for when these heathens start going back to all their nations, because they are the only people that have nations to go back to. The only people walking this earth right now that don't have a nation are us. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is caught shall fall by the sword. Their babies, or their babes, also shall be dashed in pieces before their eyes, like they did with us. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished, like they did to us. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, who shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Okay, I'm going to stop right here for a second. Now, when it says the Medes, and you Google it, or look it up, it says that the Medes are the Iranians and the people in Iraq, and there's other examples of the Medes. Okay, if you Google a picture of Iranian people, they look just like white people. So I doubt very seriously that the Medes that the heathen are throwing in our faces are the true Medes. I'll continue. And their bows shall dash the young men in pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb, like they didn't have pity on us. Their eyes shall not spare children, like these heathens did not spare our children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldeans'pride, shall be as when the Almighty overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm going to read another scripture. Jeremiah 50, 1 through 9. The words that the Almighty spoke concerning Babylon, concerning the land of the Chaldeans, by Jeremiah the prophet, not the apostle in these other books like the Book of Mormon and the New Testament, okay, but a prophet. The only place you find prophets are in the Old Testament. Everyone else is fake. Declare ye among the nations and announce, and set up a standard, announce, and conceal not. Say, Babylon is taken, B is put to shame, M is dismayed. Her images are put to shame, her idols are dismayed. For out of the north, and we know by looking up north in the concordance that it is not a direction. So, for out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They are fled, they are gone, both man and beast. In those days and in that time, saith the Almighty, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together. Judah is not the black natives. They shall go on their way weeping, and shall seek the Almighty, their Creator. They shall inquire concerning Zion with their faces hitherward. Come ye, and join yourselves to the Almighty in an everlasting covenant that shall not be forgotten. My people hath been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. All that found them have devoured them. And their adversary said, We are not guilty, because they have sinned against the Almighty. Heathen, the habitation of justice, even the Almighty, the hope of their fathers. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as the he-goats before the flocks. For lo, I will stir up and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. I'm going to stop right there and ask you a question. Out of this right here, I'll go back to here. Okay, all of these nations for the United Nations, show me a great nation. There are none. They're all heathen nations. So I believe the Almighty is not talking about these heathens running around in what they say is the earth. There's more to it. I believe the great nations that the Most High is talking about are these that aren't tainted by the heathen. Go back to the scripture. For lo, 9, I will stir up and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty man that maketh childless. None shall return in vain. So there are a lot of things that we can look for as far as the signs of when we are going to make our move. And I'm going to be putting out a couple of more videos with more signs. And on that note, family, fear the Almighty Creator. Separate from these heathens. All praise to the Almighty Creator. Have a good day, family.